The group of dogs were left alone in Antarctica. On the 133rd day, the hungry dogs could only eat the snow on the ground. At that moment, Maya seemed to have discovered something and led her companions forward. They stumbled upon a supply station where luckily some food was still stored. After a hearty meal, the dogs lazily lay on the ground except for Maya, who stood at the doorway, gazing into the distance, worried about Max, who had left the team alone. Meanwhile, Max had returned to the camp, but he found the gate tightly locked and couldn't get in. It was a mystery how he had managed to survive for so long. On the 152nd day, Max luckily stumbled upon a whale. Without much thought, he excitedly rushed towards it. Just as he was about to feast, a seal suddenly dashed out from the whale's body. Facing the much larger seal, Max had no choice but to retreat. As he pondered his next move on the side, a bark was heard. Looking up, it was Maya, who had been searching for Max. After a brief exchange of looks with Maya, Max gained confidence and boldly confronted the seal again, even tearing off a large piece of meat in front of it. The seal fell for the ruse, plunging into an ice hole and chasing after Max. With Maya's command, the other dogs ran to the whale, eagerly devouring the meat. The seal, realizing it had been tricked, swiftly returned to its den. Max tried to warn them, but it was too late. The seal emerged from its den and bit Maya's leg. The dogs quickly retreated except for Max, who rushed to the seal. Maya immediately ordered the other dogs to help Max, and eventually, due to the overwhelming number of dogs, the seal had no choice but to flee. Unfortunately, Maya was injured, even unable to stand. However, as the leader, she had to continue leading the group. In this icy wilderness, filling their stomachs was essential for survival. Even with a broken leg, she had to help her companions replenish their energy. As the days passed, Maya's injuries worsened, and the pain in her leg made her barely stand. She could only helplessly lie down, with her companions gathering around her. Maya was the soul of their team, and if she fell, they would lose their direction. In the following days, Max led the other dogs in hunting, always bringing the prey to Maya for distribution. However, this time Maya limped over and brought the food to Max instead. Max didn't understand why Maya did this, but the other dogs instantly grasped the situation, placing their catches in front of Max and waiting in line for distribution. In the eyes of the pack, after 170 days, Max had matured and become a leader. They fully supported Maya's decision. But Max placed his food in front of Maya, not wanting their former leader to give up. When the companions took their share of the food, Max stayed behind to accompany Maya, encouraging her to stay strong and wait for their owner to come for them. Meanwhile, their owner Jerry never gave up on finding the dogs. Since their separation, he had been trying various methods to return to Antarctica, but only faced numerous rejections. In desperation, Jerry sought out the doctor. Although the doctor warmly welcomed him, when Jerry showed a photo of him with the dogs and expressed his desire to use the doctor's connections to help retrieve the dogs, the doctor regretfully declined. Jerry felt powerless, and his inner guilty grew stronger. He then sought out the dog's original owner, a Native American chief, to apologize for not taking care of the dogs properly. However, the chief said to him,
"Jerry, what's important is finding that one thing that will truly put your heart at rest."
Upon hearing this, Jerry understood what he needed to do. Meanwhile, the doctor received an award for the meteorite from Mercury he discovered in Antarctica. In his speech, he thanked his family, the capitalists who supported him, and the scientific fund organization, but notably omitted any mention of Jerry and the dogs who saved his life. Watching the doctor's speech, Jerry felt disappointed once again. He told the doctor that even without anyone's help, he would go to Antarctica to save the dogs. After the doctor attended the reception and returned home, he saw a drawing made by his son. The drawing depicted 8 dogs with the words "Hero Dogs Who Saved My Dad" written beside them. The doctor was deeply moved by his son's innocence. When Jerry arrived in New Zealand to rent a boat, he found that no boat owner was willing to take the risk of going to Antarctica with him. Just as he felt at a loss, he found his ex-girlfriend and colleague there. Turned out that everything was arranged by the doctor. Using research funds, he facilitated this expedition. Finally, after 180 days, they returned to the camp. Jerry nervously walked to where the iron chains were hesitating to look. Gently brushing away the snow, he discovered the lifeless body of old Jack. At that moment, Jerry was overwhelmed with guilt. Just when he thought all the dogs had frozen to death there, he followed the iron chain and found a broken collar.
They got off.
Hearing the commotion at the camp, Max excitedly ran over with the other dogs. After 180 days, they finally reunited with their owner. Jerry began counting the dogs, calling out their names one by one. With hopeful eyes, Jerry looked into the distance, but Maya and Dewey were nowhere to be seen. Jerry then prepared to leave with the dogs, but Max refused to get in the car, instead running towards the hillside. Jerry hurriedly followed, only to witness a heartbreaking scene. Maya lying motionless in the snow. He knelt beside Maya, tears of sorrow streaming down his face. Filled with self-blame and regret, he didn't dare to touch Maya's body. Just then Maya blinked, and as he reached out to touch her, she miraculously woke up. In this pristine Antarctic landscape, a touching story unfolded between the dogs and their owner. Surviving alone for over 180 days, they never gave up on themselves and their loyalty and faith in their owner. Similarly, Jerry never gave up on them, persevering through countless challenges, never stopping to look for them.